next Saturday, a man who is just obliterating anyone that stands in front of him heads to Wolverhampton to take on the defending EBU European Super Lightweight champion Franck Petitjean. And the man I'm talking about is the British light welterweight boxer Adam Azim, who joins us this lunchtime with one of the best trainers in boxing. And it's his trainer. He's delighted to tell us. Shane McGuigan is with Adam as well. Guys, you're most welcome. Good to see you both.
Thanks for having us.
How are we? All right, Adam. Every time you come in, you're super confident about the next fight. You blow that individual away and you come and join us again. Everything is going to plan, is it not?
Yeah, it's just thanks for having me back here again. It's been an honour. So I'm looking forward to the fight. It's just a couple of days left to the fight, so I'm looking forward to it now. So.
Good man. There's Spencer Oliver. Here's Simon Jordan.
I mean, Adam, you're taking a huge gamble here, jumping up into European level. This guy's been around a long time, 33 fights. Only lost five or six. Very durable, southpaw. So it's a big risk for you jumping up, in only your 10th fight.
Yeah, it is a big risk, but I had two hard fights that are the two fights I need for the preparation for the European title. He's a good opponent. He's very durable, but I do love fighting southpaws, so that's one of my things. So
well, we know you're very explosive, and one thing we can guarantee with your opponent is that he will come at you. He's one of these guys that don't mind having a fight himself. So on paper, it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good fight. But when someone wants to come and give it a go at me, I think it's the wrong thing to do. So yeah.
I mean, I know, Shane, you've been talking about world titles for Adam Azim and breaking all sorts of records. Wants to get.
We're breaking your record, aren't we, Spence?
Yeah.
Why would you have done that?
I'm so glad you brought it up.
Now, would you like to elaborate on that?
I think he won the European title in his 11th fight, and I think Adam's trying to win it in his 10th. So
come on, Adam.
I did, and previously Nazim Hamid done it in his 12th fight.
Yeah,
and this goes back to 1997 or something like that. So you're in good. You're in a good place there. 10th fight is like that's what I said to you. Like stepping up to that level is a huge jump up. I know, like your last two fights this year, you've gone 10 rounds twice. You've had good, durable opponents, and that puts you in good stead going into this one because this could be a long night as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like you could even go out early, could go out late. It's just like I'm looking forward to the fight. Like when someone comes and actually comes at me, I love it. So.
Good. Of course, we all know, Shane, that Spencer fought a bunch of nobodies, whereas Adam is going in against some serious dudes. Yeah. But I mean, that is a great target to have to take the record.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it shows. It shows our faith in him as well. He's boxing for the European title, but I feel like his last fight. Fanyan was, he was equally as good as this guy, potentially even better. So it's just the way it is. It's just there's a title at the end of it. There's a nice belt, but in terms of the development, he's had those development fights. We've got an extra 2 rounds to deal with. It's a 12-rounder for the first time. So, but he's 21 years of age, and if he wants to go and win world titles when he's 22, 23. We better get our skates on.
I was going to ask you, Shane, because I saw the last fight, and it was a puzzle for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a difficult fight, and the fella came to fight, and he had to really impose himself. You must have taken a lot of learning from that. What was the takeaway from that particular fight? Did you expect it to be as troublesome as it was proving in the early rounds?
No, definitely. I mean, we had to box someone in the top 5 to get a ranking to fight for the European title. So that was the only guy that was available, and we looked at him on paper and thought potentially, it's going to be quite a hard fight. But then looking at tape, we realised he's young, he was fresh, he was there to win. He came with a good game plan. But Adam hurt him in the 8th round, and I think if they had another 2 rounds, potentially could have stopped him.
Out there.
It's the same fight before that, Santos Reyes. He hurt him in the fight, and these are the fights you need to have to really put the icing on the cake. You need to get the stoppages once you get someone hurt. And the thing is he's doing it live on Sky Sports, whether a headline or a chief support. He's right up there, so there's a lot of eyeballs on him. There'll be a lot of criticism, but at the same time, he's learning his trade. He's just doing it on that stage.
Yeah, I don't think criticism would be fair for that fight. Do you? I think the fella that came to fight was a very competent individual, and I was surprised. We were live at the fight. I'm not obviously seeing it firsthand. It's different from seeing it on television, and I was watching Adam working it out and trying to impose himself. And the guy that he was fighting was very, very game and very technically proficient as well.
He's been around. He only had 1 defeat on his record. He's a tough guy. He's a durable campaigner. He's a sort of like fringe world level. The question I was going to ask you, Shane, is like how difficult difficult is it going to be to hold Adam back? Because we've seen the opponents and we've seen the development, and he's moved very, very fast. But how difficult? He wins that European title on Saturday week. That puts him in top 10 in all the governing bodies.
Yeah.
Then you're talking about like legitimately boxing for a world title. How difficult is it to hold him back, or do you think he's ready for that now? And he's ready to go.
I mean, it's just that fine balance, isn't it? It's not about winning. Even if he gets the right opponent for a world title, do he take it? Because he's 21 years of age. He'll be 22 in July. But so by the time he's looking to get ranked even higher, but it's just when you get there, every fight at that level is extremely tough.
Sure.
So you have to be ready for that level. And I think what we'll do is once we win the European title, there's a couple of names. I even want him to potentially box someone like Harlem Eubank. That'd be a good name. He needs to build his brand. He needs to build his name in the UK before going on and claiming those honours, because ability-wise, he's definitely there. He's there to do it. But you have to build the brand. And
Shane, I'm just listening to you thinking your role in all of this is so important because you're plotting what you believe to and perceive to be the right roadmap for Azim to follow, for Adam to follow. And if in any way you were to slip up there and maybe get him involved with someone that maybe at this early stage in his life was too much for him,
I'll take the fool. I'll be the fool guy.
The finger gets pointed to you.
Yeah, I'm happy
Shane's
to do
got
it.
the
I mean,
experience to
I'm
do
happy
that
to
now.
do it.
Yeah.
We pushed someone like Josh Taylor on very, very fast in his career. He had a lot more international experience as an amateur, whereas Adam didn't really have any senior bouts. But as every professional fighter would tell you, like Spence as well, like you do your learning in the gym and you make your mistakes in the gym, and really, like it's just the showcase out there on the live stage. So we need to get a couple of. When we've had Paddy Donovan, he was in here the other day. He's a great fighter. That the two of them been sparring. It's been brilliant quality of sparring, and that's more valuable than this 12 rounds that he's going to get next Saturday night.
Shane, what about Dalton Smith as another name that comes to mind? It's a name that people are talking about them two being the best in the country. Dalton's the British champion, I believe, isn't he? And that is a huge fight as well domestically. Is that a fight that we could see anytime in the near future?
I think that deserves a world title. I think that deserves not a stadium fight. That deserves an O2 to be packed out and to be on headline and generate as much attention and money as possible, because
British Commonwealth European title on the line though.
But you only get one dance part, Spence. Do you know what I mean? Like you only get one. Who else in the UK is going to be able to get to that level? Really, Howard Davies is fighting for it, but whether he wins it or not, if he does win it, he might lose because he's been beaten before at a lower level. So you really want those two to be a box office fight, and I think it deserves that. So maybe
again about timing.
Yeah, Adam, how much trust do you have in the man to your right? Because we're talking about you here, and how Shane is plotting, as I said, the roadmap for you. You're going to tell us all, and you're going to say live in talkSPORT, I'll go in with anybody. I fancy my chances against anyone, and your record proves it.
Yeah,
but I mean, you're so reliant on Shane getting the right opponent.
It's because he's been in the game for long. He's made world class fighters, and he's obviously one of the best trainers in the UK. If not, he is the best trainer in the UK. So even the world. So I've got my full faith on him, and plus we work together in the gym. Like he tells me the right things to do and not. Like even the last fight, it was a tough fight, but I still managed to listen to instructions in the corner. And so it was a good fight, but I got the job done. That was the main thing. So
do you feel that your best days are very much still to come? We're going to see you in a whole different level a few fights down the road.
Yeah, definitely. You're going to see me in a whole different level, but this next fight is going to be, you guys will see a lot more of me, because I feel like the last fight, it was more of a chess match. Like Fanya was holding back and he was trying to drag me into obviously it was more of like a technical fight, because I felt like I was fighting myself in that fight.
Well, that's the sort of level. That's the level you're moving into now. That's what I'm saying. These opponents, like the one that you got on Saturday week, that's what they're like now, and it becomes a thinking game. Whereas where you go in there in your early days and you blast people out and take them out. Yeah. When you get to a certain level, these kids can take that sort of punishment, and you have to figure it out. You're the one that has to set the traps and work out how to win, and that determines who's the challenger and who becomes the champion.
Spencer, just before we lose Adam, I'll come to you, Sammy, because you watched him at close quarters in that last fight. Where is Adam at? And how confident are you that we're going to see him at the very top?
Serious talent. He's a serious talent. And I was going to ask Shane what it is that we're going to be starting to see next from him. Where are you looking for the development in this young man? Because I think he's a serious talent. I think he's got it all in his locker. And if he's got it in his mind as well, because psychological strength is part of it, isn't it? And a significant part of it.
Definitely. I mean, that and as Spence said, you know, it becomes a thinking game. When you get to the top, they can all take shots away from you and they can all hurt you at any stage, and you can do the same to them. And it is just how you can prize that out of somebody. But it's getting international sparring in, it's getting the quality opposition, and over time you just naturally develop. So that is it's a calculated risk every time we step foot into the ring now, and with the right opponent. But I think he has unbelievable power.
I was going to say, do you
unbelievable speed.
Are you expecting to see more power from him?
Yeah, definitely. I think Petitjean, to get into this, to win this fight, Petitjean's going to have to come forward. And if that's the case, he's walking straight into hard shots. So I think we're going to see a knockout.
Oh, wow. Another one. He's had 6 of those already in 9 fights. Adam, what can you promise us going into this in Wolverhampton next Saturday against Franck Petitjean?
It's going to be an amazing fight. He's going to be coming to win as well. But, you know, he keeps saying to me that he's going to be a nightmare for me. But the only nightmares he get is when he goes to sleep. But when he wakes up, he ain't getting no nightmare.
Okay, Franck Petitjean, if you're listening this lunchtime, wow, I think twice about going in with this man. Adam Azim, 9-0, 6 KOs, going in against Franck Petitjean in Wolverhampton.